What's he gonna do? Write about the cage of bird?
He's gonna be the poet laureate.
Oh,
I don't write poetry.
of the Wild Bob and Ronnie show.
Right.
You missed a good one last week.
Yeah, I heard that, yeah. I got busy doing something, and the next thing I knew, I saw Ronnie and the show was over.
Oh. We had a good time.
Yeah, we had all sorts of compliments on him, how good it was without you.
How about that? Well, I guess I'll be here throughout the show today.
Fella told me to give you that.
Who's that?
If you can't figure it out, just lay it back down.
Whose is it?
Yours.
Yours.
Hey, we gotta see them anyhow.
Hey,
Now, he was
that
here.
right there is a mouse.
Is it?
Smallest mouse, or mouse pad. That's a mouse pad right there.
Okay.
Smallest
I
mouse
thought they
pad
put-
ever
I
made.
thought they put one on a pinhead.
What you do is that mouse pad, you
All right.
move your screen around with it.
Okay, all right, how about that?
Touch type screens,
You
huh?
gotta have a touch screen.
That's good.
That's a pretty good. I got a pencil the other day.
Woo, wow, that's
There you
bright.
go. How about
Man,
that?
got the one
Yours
in there.
got a
Yeah, LEDs in there.
That's laser. You point that airplane and you'll get arrested.
No, this is LED, this ain't a ladder.
How about that? That's not, John come by, or
He's out there, he's been here doing something radio stuff.
is he gonna sit in with us?
No, he's gone, I reckon.
Huh?
He's gone, I reckon.
Okay, all right.
We need to hook up our microphones to that speaker over there. Boy, that's a big one, man. That's a whopper.
Well, so we're worldwide right now? Hello, world.
Why?
Have you met our stars?
Ships at sea.
You've got,
Oh, ships at sea.
Yeah.
What's
you
his
got
name?
Ronnie, you got
What was that
Ariel,
guy's name? I can't
and you
remember.
got Jerry. And, I'm here, the first one that spits over my hand wins.
It wasn't Lincoln.
No. Who was all the ships at sea guy?
News broadcaster reporter back in the
Just barely
40s,
can't remember it.
50s.
What are you talking about my days?
Yeah, who was? Tell us who it was, Bob.
What?
They always said all the ships at sea.
Oh, that was old,
All you people out there in radio land and the ships at sea.
yeah, all the ships at sea. I listened to him many a time.
Is he the one that gave us the Blitz, the London Blitz, broadcasted live from there?
Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah.
that was Everett R. Merle, wasn't it?
Was that Merrill?
Maybe it's both of them, I don't know, but I'll find out his name.
Well, that's back when.
All right, you people out there on the internet, call in.
That was back when.
562-3557.
Let's see if
Tell
the
us who this
microphones
is.
work here in a minute.
Right, okay. Which one?
Well, we've got the
There's a
Butter
theme
Bean song
Yeah,
right
theme
now. When that
song.
goes off, we gotta see if the mics work.
Right, okay. Are you listening to see if it works?
Do they both plug up at the same outlet? Yes, they do, don't they?
Walter Winchell.
Well,
Thank
Winchell,
you.
yeah.
Walter Winchell.
See, I do kind of dandy.
You're a research.
I'm the research,
Specialist.
yes.
I was talking to one
I'm
of
gonna
my
be a
favorite
specialist.
candidates for the county
See
commissioners,
if that one works. That works.
okay?
This might.
So y'all can't talk, just Jerry and I will do the
Yeah,
show.
we'll do
Go
the
ahead,
show.
oratory.
Well,
I
I
think
want
we'll
to
never
have
have
a
a
microphone that is working.
Turn the switch on.
Can you hear anything on it?
Well, that other's working. It's the only one that works like time anyway, I reckon. Hello, everybody. Is it on?
Hey, folks,
Hey, I
welcome
think
to
it's
the
on.
Wild Bob and Ronnie show this Saturday afternoon, the first day of summer.
Just forget it. It
Yes,
don't
That's
work.
right. Today's
It's
the
got-
first day of
That other
summer.
works.
Sure
It's
is.
got a piece of tape.
And
back
it's hot and
behind it.
humid. I
Says it
hope we
can't
don't
be
have
turned
too many
on.
hot and
Right.
humid days like
It can't be
today.
turned on either, no.
Keep it
As it was yesterday, the day before summer.
Right.
So, I guess that's all the more reason the government needs to get
Get hooks
involved
up in
in
there.
the weather situation, because it was not quite as hot on the 20th of June as it is on on the
I can go in
21st of
control
June, and it
center and
was
see
on
if
the
it
20th of June.
Right.
So that
You
indicates
want me to
some
go check?
type of,
No,
abnormal.
hadn't heard
That's
that.
okay.
Think it's something we've ever
Abnormal,
had.
or it's not normal.
Well, Al Gore ain't normal either, so if we can have some abnormal weather, that'd be good for us.
Yeah, but Al Gore is normal as far as he's concerned. He's about like all these people here in this county, you know, those that thieve and get arrested and get elected to office, and thieve and get arrested and get elected to office, you know, that's not being abnormal. That's just being the way you're supposed to be.
Right.
The only mistake they made was getting caught.
Folks, if you wanna call in to the Wild Bob and Ron Show at 562-3557
Or
or 566-1450.
on your radio dial.
That's right.
Yeah, and we do look good on the radio, folks.
Yeah, we're
The
looking great today.
best looking crew on the radio right here. Don't look too good on the internet, but we look good on the radio.
And we got the Jacksboro Gasser with us today, one of the survivors of the Richard Milhouse Nixon enemies list, which I think Ron and Bob were also survivors of that enemies list.
We made the dean's list.
I am one of the survivors of the Woolworths 4.
Of what now?
The Woolworths 4.
Woolworth, 4.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. In Greenville,
My
North,
wife worked,
you're talking about Greenville, North
yeah,
Carolina?
Greensboro.
Greensboro.
And my wife worked catty corner. Well, Woolworths was about, at that time, 2 to 3 doors down from the square there at Market and Main Street.
This ought to be interesting.
What about Ronnie?
Hello?
Hey, how are you?
What?
You what?
Do you know Jerry Wilhorn?
Do we know Jerry Wilhoit?
Do
No,
we?
I don't.
I don't. Is he missing?
Billy.
We still don't know him.
Is he missing?
What's the matter with him?
Know him. What's wrong with him?
Is he running for?
I wanted him coming cleaning for him, fix my garage. He has all them things he brings to you.
Well, if he's listening to 1450 now, I'm sure he got the message. Okay, thank you.
I didn't get it.
Okay, what I was saying
Did anybody get the message?
on the,
Jerry
we
Wilhoit?
We hope we've been of service. We
right,
don't know what we did.
on the,
Oh, yeah, and there'll be no school tomorrow.
yeah, right,
Woo!
okay. On the Greensboro, on the city and that Woolworths in Greensboro.
I remember that, and you know, I met one of the black guys involved in that. He
He was
was-
me, was it?
No, he was a political activist. He moved over to Granville County, Oxford, North Carolina.
Okay, all right.
And he was
Remember
living
which
over
one he
there,
was?
and he was a political
It
activist
wasn't
over
Fox,
there.
his name wasn't Fox, was it?
I don't recall his name. That was 25 years ago.
I used to know all 4 of them. Name. What I'm saying, they were about three doors down from where Main Street and Market Street cross, which is the main hub of the city at that time. And my wife worked on the northeast corner of Market Street, and Woolworths was on the southwest side of Main Street.
Bob, what kind of work was your wife doing there on the
She worked at
street
the
corner?
bank,
Oh, okay.
working at the
That's
bank.
where they count the money, you know.
Oh, good, okay.
Now, that's during the day.
Oh, okay.
At night, she was a mother of 4. Okay.
Stayed
Not
home,
at that time, she was.
stayed home and raised the baby.
No, not at that time. In fact, we had not had any children at that time. But what I was saying, I would teach at school. We couldn't afford the one automobile naturally. So I would come up and pick her up, she'd get off at 5 o'clock, if I get out of school at 3:15, then you didn't have all those meetings and
What?
everything. Back then, if you didn't have bus duty, you could take off right at 3 or 3:15.
Did you work for the county system or the
I
city?
worked for the county
County system, what county was
That
that
was
there?
Guilford.
Guilford, that's right,
Okay.
Guilford County.
And, the old boy that's, now a state, U.S. representative, Coble, Howard Coble, was the, one who signed my paycheck for the county at that time. He's gone on to bigger and better things than Howard has. He's a representative in the, big district of Washington D.C.
Uh-huh.
But I go to town and, they'd be having a sit-in. I go over and sit down at the counter and they wanna know what I wanted. I said, I have the same thing they're having. Huh? I said, same thing they're having. Well, they're not being served. I said, I won't be served either. So, you know, and I felt that in my heart at that time, you know, and I still feel it, you know. I was raised during the time when you walk down the street, if my dad met a black man on the sidewalk, that black man usually would step off of the sidewalk and tip his hat. And that not just my dad, but other white people go by, okay? And it's such a shame that they have come so far and they've let Obama put them back on the plantation. Because they're right back on the plantation under Obama, just like they were back during slavery times. They get their food, they get their housing, they get a little money to spend on Saturday night. And the only difference now, they just don't have to pick no cotton.
Well, there's one
You know-
other difference though. On the plantation now, Bob, they got a lot of other people there with them now.
Oh, yeah, not
They
just
get a lot of
black
benefits
people.
for being on that
It's
plantation.
not the colored, but it's everybody.
You know, Bob,
Obama don't do anything just normal, it's gotta be big, you know.
Bob, in 1961, a friend of mine from Maryville by the name of Bobby Brown and I were driving down through Alabama on our way to New Orleans, and our car broke down. And we had to get to New Orleans to work, get enough money to fix the car, so we had to catch Greyhound. And the bus we caught was a Freedom Rider bus.
Okay.
Black person sat in every seat, and the whites would not sit down with the blacks on that bus. But I went to Brea College, where it was integrated, and we had no problem with blacks up there. And you learn that they're just good people like everybody else. When they want to be, they can be as good as any white person when they want to be, and any white person can be bad when he wants to be. But I thought I was going to get lynched because I just sat plopped down in the seat, but I didn't even think twice about it. You know, went to school with blacks, so sat with them, played sports with them, and didn't have any problem. And when I plopped down the seat, I thought they were wide on there. What are you doing? What are you doing? You know?
Well,
Put a
you
little
know,
peer pressure on you, huh?
Yeah.
you know, I came along a little bit before you when the legal racial divide was greater. Now, I think actually the social divide between the races now is greater than it's ever been. But the legal divide was in place when I was a young man, and it's not there anymore. But you know, just because you make laws or you remove laws, that cannot change people's heart or attitude. It takes something else to change their heart and attitude. I had the very good fortune of being raised in a, well, my daddy was a WASP. You know what a WASP is?
Sure do. White Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
Okay, he was a...
Not white Anglo-Saxon Presbyterian.
Right.
White Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
Okay, and he was raised in the Baptist church, and later migrated over to the Methodist church. But to have been raised that way, and I heard a program on TV the other night talking about how what dire straits people were during the Depression down in the Saluda Valley of South Carolina, which flows from, I don't know which way it's going, I think it's heading south, going toward Anderson, South Carolina, out of Greenville, the Saluda River is. Well, he was raised down there on the river, and he said one winter it got so severe and so bad that they couldn't catch any fish, they didn't trap anything, nothing flew or crawled by the house, and they had to eat their only ox in order to stay alive that winter. Well, to come from that type of environment or upbringing, my dad was a very open-minded person. In fact, in 1938, he took a black kid into our home. The kid had relatives there, but he just could not get along with them. They were not exactly, I don't know what he was, but Alvis Burnett was his name. And my dad sent Alvis through school. We would walk, well, say 2 years, Alvis was 10 years older than me, something like that. We would all walk to the end of the road. And Alvis would catch the bus going to Sedalia, North Carolina, which was the black school. And myself and my brothers, for that 1 or 2 years, would catch the bus going to the White High School in McLeansville. And Alvis graduated from high school. My dad got him a job with the Southern Railway. He worked his entire career with the Railway Express division of the Southern Railway. And he retired from the Southern Railway, educated 3 or 4 kids, owned his own home, nice brick home, and drove a nice automobile. And he was one of the pallbearers at my dad's funeral. And he was just like a brother to me. So what I'm saying is, I was raised, you know. Have you told them the difference between being raised and reared?
No, you tell them, Bob.
Well, you know, I always said that we were reared, you know, and Ronnie says it's raised. And I said, well, no, you got it back right, about half right. I said, we raised the boys and reared the girls.
You have to define that for us, Bob.
No,
I'm
not going into that any further.
I'm having a terrible time with the definition of
Not
words
going
anyhow.
into that any further. But, you know, I was raised in a very liberal family. And I had
Don't call.
Don't tell them.
I had no problem with that. Well, Bob, Ronnie.
Hi, Bob and Ronnie.
Hey, how are you?
Gang. I'm listening to you, so I'm doing pretty good. I was wanting to hear y'all say a little something about something that's not really clear to me, about this influx of these children, these Mexican and Central American children that's crossing the border without any parents or any guardians. And what's going to become of those kids? Y'all got any ideas on that? I'd like to hear somebody discuss that, maybe.
How about it, Bob? All them young'uns are coming
Well,
across the border.
now,
Let me,
Now what?
let me interject.
Here's the vibe.
I mean,
Let me
I think it's in excess of 100 and some thousand.
Let me interject something here. Ronnie here of the Wild Bob and Ron, the Ron part of the Wild Bob and Ron show, pointed out a book to me the other day. What's the title of that book, Ron?
Camp of the Saints.
Camp of the Saints by Jean Raspail.
He's Frenchman.
Frenchman, R-A-I-S-P-A-I-L.
72 or 3.
1973 is when that book was published, and it became a bestseller again in 2011. And it's how Europe was taken over by third world country immigrants just
It's fiction.
pouring into Europe. And I think somebody in Central America and South America read this book and
Right.
said, we can do that to the United States.
I think somebody here read that book and sent them a letter.
sent them a letter and told them what to do. This is a planned strategy. These people are eating well. They look healthy when they come across the border. The children do not look skinny and starved. They are well dressed, and they are supplied transportation all the way across Mexico
He's,
to the U.S. border.
calling.
So, we've got a serious problem on our hands, a very, very serious problem. And people are gonna have to buck up and, do something, either open our borders and let everybody in the world come here that wants to come, or establish, some kind of protocol, which we do have an established protocol to become a citizen. We've either got to enforce that or throw the law books in the Mississippi River and let them float to the Gulf of Mexico, because if we don't obey the law, we ain't a country.
Right
But
now,
also, a country without borders is not a country.
Yeah.
we're, the number, the last count I had, we was looking at 173 or 4,000. And I don't know whether that's at the end of this year or the estimate, but right now, we're somewhere, we was looking at maybe 40,000, now we're hitting about 70,000 right now. We're that much above what they were estimating. And like you say, if you'll check the appearance of these, when they're coming across, look how well their hair is combed or clean, and you name it. For somebody who's traveled 1,800 miles, it seems to me like they've ate good, they're in good health that way. But anyhow,
You know, they're dispersing these children all over
that
the
is
United
correct.
States where you're not gonna be able to locate them.
we will, well,
And the way the government
There's-
destroys hard drives and emails, you won't ever locate them.
there's,
They do pretty good losing stuff.
Yeah, they do.
each of these children or individuals has to have legal counsel. Every one of them has got to have some sort of legal counsel, and they're calling for attorneys, and we've got tons of attorneys, I think, that are not doing anything, that will be down there. It takes facilities to process them through. And like you say, they're sending them all over the United States, and all they're asking of them is that they show up for a hearing at a certain time. And I think some of these hearings are spaced out there maybe untold months or years.
Months from now, yeah.
So, we've got a situation here, and I heard, the president made a statement the other day, and I didn't get all of the numbers and the figures right, but it's his, and I think he's doing all this by fiat. He's signing this by, it's nothing going before Congress anymore.
Executive order.
Everything is being written out strictly by what the president says. Congress ain't doing nothing now but trying to look up some lost emails or something.
I know where the emails are.
Well,
They're with the billing records from the Rose Law Firm.
well,
Well,
yeah, okay.
Same warehouse.
But, anyhow, we filled up about every facility that we've got as far as, we're putting on military bases, all sorts of things like that to house them. And like you say, they're distributing them now all over the United States. Don't be surprised if right here in La Follette you see several show up sometime in the near future. Because all they have to have is a relative or say they've got a relative.
You know, RL, the big issue that a lot of people aren't looking at, they're looking at the numbers that are already here, but the pool from which they emanate is in the millions, the tens of millions. You're talking about the population of Guatemala, probably 25 million people.
Well, this is not just a hapstance or whatever, no.
Whole
coincidence.
villages are packing
This-
up and coming to
This
America.
is a planned, put-together thing. You could not move this many people in one direction, coordinate them in the right kind of weather and everything else to get them to this point. I mean, it's not gonna happen. These people aren't lemmings. They're not one following the other. They're all coming in a mass migration.
This ain't Woodstock, is it?
Well, now,
I mean, you know,
they're overwhelmed. They have totally overwhelmed the border. The president he's refused to do anything about the border. All he's asking for is imminent, or the word comprehensive, all-included immigration things. but he will not say anything about securing the border. In my opinion, we might as well just pull the border guard off.
This
Just pull
is
them
a-
out, take the fences down, and say, come on.
There's also a plan for amnesty, don't you think?
Yeah,
There has to be
Amnesty's
no
involved in it.
amnesty?
Amnesty's
Just
involved.
realize that some of these
But
kids,
I tell you, I've always got solutions for something. The solution for this is very simple. Everybody who supports President Obama, go down there and pick up one or two that's got places for them to house them. Or if that don't work, have the government demand that they go pick up 2 or 3 and take them in your house if you've got an extra room. What would be wrong with that?
you mean,
How do you think these kids are gonna vote 10, 12, 15 years from now?
Well, whenever it comes down to it, I believe the Constitution says that they can't quarter soldiers, but it don't say nothing about making you quarter immigrants.
Immigrants.
They could absolutely do it, just sidestep the Constitution.
well, I'm gonna
Well,
put
they're
a
ignoring it
Change
anyway.
the
I'm
meaning
gonna
of
put
the
a
words.
lighter note on what we're doing. It's a very, very serious problem. But to admit we're not as smart as the communists who were able to construct a wall in East Germany that for 25 years nobody broke in.
Yeah, kept West Germany completely on their side, didn't it? Hang on,
Yeah.
that fellers. We got something going on here.
Von Digger Wilson.
His birth-
Been here off and on for over 30 years in the same spot. Public propane, done repairs on containers, heaters. I'm the only one in the county that'll do you a repair on your tanks if you need it. I sell propane gas, liquid propane, and I've got plenty of competitors, and I can easily compete with them. That's grills, backup heat, substitute heat, grills, campers, motor homes, you name it. And if it's comes in through that door, I can take care of it. I'm here Tuesday through Friday, 8 till 5, and Saturday, 8 till 12. They could call me at 562-54.
5444.
Right,
Right there in the middle of the road, Sawmill Holler.
Yes, sir.
right,
You gotta either turn left or right or pull up in his parking lot.
right there
Just
you go.
smack dab, middle of the road.
And
The point-
I have got a stop sign on my place now.
He's got a stop sign on his place now, you do?
So they gotta stop there whether they want to or not.
The good thing about a stop sign, everybody has to look both ways, they've got to see it.
Right.
Good
Which
idea.
way's the stop sign? Going up, Sawmill Holler or?
Coming down Ellison.
Okay, so you're gonna have to, you get there to that place where they sell all them different flavors of propane and you gotta make a decision. Right or left at Oak Street, I guess. Yeah, that's Von Digger Wilson, huh?
Right.
You can put digger over the stop and gas underneath. Stop digger gas.
In case
Or
you,
digger stop gas.
Yeah, he's got propane too.
Yeah. Flavored propane.
Yeah.
Hickory flavored.
in case anybody figured it out, Digger dropped in and smiled at us. And we thought we'd go ahead and punch his product a little bit here.
Right.
Well, let me finish that. I get off subject awful easy. But the president has come up with a solution to this immigration thing, and what his proposal is that the people from down in Latin America are coming to here due to the fact of the crime and the drugs and all this stuff. So he has declared that we're going to send hundreds of millions of dollars to Latin America. We're going to solve the crime problem and all these things, and we're going to supplement the people who we're supposed to be sending back. We're going to give them better housing and all this stuff. So that sounds like a winner, doesn't it?
Well, if we could get, maybe we can go down there and practice, come back up here and stop some of this stealing around here.
Well, the
ain't no stealing
Federal
goes on around
Reserve, RL, the Federal Reserve, which is not federal and is definitely not a reserve, they're just hand cranking money out as fast as the print presses will print it.
Well,
So
it doesn't mean
why not
anything.
spend
They
it
don't
in
even use
Guatemala?
paper anymore, they just,
Why not spend it in Guatemala?
You know,
We can buy off games and
yeah, well, we're doing it in Chicago.
Yeah.
We're paying those people up there. They run a documentary the other day, and they look for a guy that's gonna solve Chicago's gun violence
They
thing.
get $1,000 a month if they don't shoot
That's right,
anybody.
these people, they're paying them $1,000 a month not to shoot.
That's
Well, I
your
ain't
government,
shot.
that's your
They
government
owe me
tax
some
dollars.
back pay. I ain't shot
Well, do
nobody the
you
last
reckon-
time.
Do you reckon
That's your
we can
tax
hire
dollars
him
that
for
work.
an equal amount to shoot somebody?
Well, it
I
seems
wonder where
like
you
a joke.
file for that $1,000 a month.
I don't
I
know.
don't know, but they had this guy there, and he'd been shot too. He'd been shot and was in a wheelchair. But anyhow, he said he was getting his $1,000 not to shoot nobody. And the guy that thought this up, whoever's interviewing him kind of made a joke out of it, and he said it's working. You know, we're paying $1,000 a piece not to shoot nobody.
Folks, that's a state where 4 of the last 6 governors are now in prison.
And you
And
think this is a
the
joke?
other
folks.
two done graduated.
Dude done out on parole.
Talking about money, there's another thing that you haven't heard about in the last week or two, and Russia,
Ukraine?
Ukraine, did you see where Russia demanded the Ukraine pay them for their gas? They owed them about $1 billion in back pay on gas.
So we gave them $700 million
No.
to help cover the.
Well, no, the International Monetary Fund went and paid their bill, and Russia says now that if they get gas, they're going to pay as they get it.
You reckon we get Cuba, the International Monetary Fund, to catch Cuba up a little bit on what they owe?
Lord, yeah. And that's, folks, the International Monetary Fund is a method set up by the U.S. government and other big wheels to take your tax dollars and redistribute your money around the world as they think it ought to be spent instead of you.
Well, we're talking kind of
And do
pessimistic.
you
but-
realize that these people, all of them have an economic degree?
Absolutely.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
the
you
cream
get
of the
more,
crop.
well, who wrote the documentation which established the fact that you could take this housing bubble and build it up into this extreme profit-making enterprise, and the papers that set the standard for doing that came right out of the Harvard Economics School.
Through AIG?
And,
Charlie Rangel,
and when that bubble bursted, a lot of millionaires were rich.
is that what it was? Charlie
A lot of
Rangel?
taxpayers got the,
Well, America's always had the rare ability to make money out of a shortage or out of a calamity.
Or an excess.
Well, that's because we can print the money. I mean, if you can print the money, it doesn't matter.
and they got a print press that works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week,
Well,
and never quits printing money.
And to take,
And can't keep up with demand.
That's right.
well, fellas, we seem to worry about a lot of things, but when you come right down to it,
I don't worry about
yeah,
nothing.
if you stop to think about it, we don't have anything to worry about. It's like the president is going to send 300 Green Berets to Iraq. So that problem,
We'll be
that
doing
problem
it.
is solved. We got 300 Green Berets, they're going in there and they're going to kick some butt, take some names, and I'd say in 6 weeks that'll be over with.
Do you notice
Well, you
three sentences before he announced sending those troops over there? There will be no American boots on the ground in Iraq.
And I figured that out. These
Three
guys,
sentences
They
later,
put 'em- they
he's
put 'em
sending
in-
300 boots.
No, they put them in.
600
They
boots.
put them in Snickers.
No
They
one-legged
put 'em in
soldier.
sneakers.
well, I figured what it is, these fellas are super, and gravity doesn't apply to them. They just float in. That way their boots aren't on the ground.
Well,
Okay.
you got to look at it, he's one of the few presidents in the world that can snatch victory from defeat.
Well, we've done a
defeat
good
from
job.
victory. Defeat from victory.
You know, the other day I heard you make a statement, Ronnie, that you thought Nixon was the most corrupt that we'd ever had. If you look the other night, like this IRS thing where they had the guy before
I also
Congress.
said this guy'd improve.
Yeah, this guy's,
Yeah.
this guy is, that IRS guy is laughing at Congress. Oh, he's just laughing at them. They can't touch him. And one of those congressmen or senators called him a liar, just flat out called him a liar. And he just grinned. He knows that they can't touch him. And I heard
Well, they
another-
won't touch him.
No,
They
won't.
can touch him.
Well,
They
they
can
won't.
censor him, they can vote to censor him,
Well,
and,
No, this guy, they can't. He's the head of the IRS. How can they do that? He's
they can do it with
an
any
agency.
bureaucrat.
well,
And, once they censor you, they can submit that to criminal action.
right
But the
now,
only problem there is Holder's in charge
Holder right
of the
now,
criminal side.
and there's he's got what is it? Where they're holding him in contempt of Congress.
Holder,
Holder's in contempt of Congress right now, and they can't do nothing with
they
it.
can't touch him because
If it
he's
boils
in charge
down-
of prosecuting people for contempt of Congress.
If it boils right down to it, and they get in a tight squeeze, the president will give them executive immunity, and that'll be the end of that. They won't be touched.
You know, the thing that bothers me, according to the Constitution, Congress, the House side of Congress is in charge of all purse strings. Why don't they just cut the money off? That's all, they got the vote to do it. They don't take a 2/3 vote, just takes a majority. Why don't they cut the vote off to the IRS and stop the checks?
I'd say it boils back down to about the same
If they
thing.
put the IRS out of business, they ain't gonna write no more checks either.
They can put all the rest of them out of business.
When,
They don't want to kill the goose.
Ronnie,
they
you're
their
too-
golden egg.
You're too logical for our discussion.
when they shut the government down, they blamed Democrats and Republicans. The Republicans got blamed for shutting it down. The president and several other people on the Democratic side, there were several things that they could have done. It's just like on these parks, and the museum or the monuments up there. They said it was cheaper to keep them open. They could run them with 3 people to keep them open. It'd take 30 people to secure them to keep people out. And there was another agency. Now I can't remember what the name of it was, but they said we can continue to run by just doing a couple of minor adjustments. The administration said, no, we want to make it as hard as possible on the general public.
There was one place that was privately owned, and they made
That
them shut
is
down,
correct.
wouldn't let them use the parking lot.
Right, but that's where we're at. I don't feel, just like, there's no point in worrying about it. If we can send 300 Green Berets into Iraq and solve that problem. But another thing crossed my mind, when they go in, are they going to still be Green Berets or are they going to be Blue Hats? Because I haven't had a clear definition. Is this a UN operation? Or is it just the United States of
It's
America?
us,
It's just us.
unilaterally.
Unilateral, okay, then that way they can keep the Green Berets instead of having to wear the Blue Hats.
Yeah, they get to absorb all the.
I have a lot of respect for our military and for the Green Berets, but I'm gonna tell you what, I have not heard a good figure, or a substantial figure, or an accurate figure on how many soldiers this radical ISIS group has got.
Well, do you remember when they were marching, the U.S. invaded Operation Desert Storm back in 92, 3?
91.
91.
Okay. Do you remember whenever they went in there and them guys was beating the speedy retreat out of Baghdad, and they went in there and bombed that road, and there wasn't nothing but dead Jeeps and soldiers laying all over it?
That was the
Well-
Republican Guard, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Supposed to be
that
their
was,
elite.
Yeah, they were trying to get out of Kuwait with their booty.
yeah, but that was before we ever put anybody up there on the ground. And these guys are streaming into Baghdad. Looks to me like we could fire a few shots over the bow with air power and keep them there 300 soldiers at home.
I heard they was interviewing a general, I believe, and he said that they could take that thing out because these guys, what we call the rebels or terrorists or whatever, said they were coming down the road just in a straight line
Yeah, well, I
in
saw-
broad daylight.
Yeah,
He
I
said
saw
it would
that.
be
Every one of
nothing.
them driving new Toyotas. You see
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. And he said it would be nothing to dealing with that.
Half a dozen Apaches could take every one of them out.
Oh, he said it was
Oh,
traveling.
I'm not supposed to use the term Apache.
No,
I'm
that's
sorry
right.
out there.
Look, I was being called.
Apache, we got helicopters named Apache.
Hey, I was being called paleface.
Paleface,
Honky gets to me.
Honky, Cracker.
Well, fellas, what do you think about our noted Senator Corker and his fuel tax?
Oh,
High
my
fly,
Man, thank Mac.
God. We've already got somebody lined up to run against Corker in the primary 2 years from now, right?
No, 4.
Oh, no.
It's
good
6-year term.
again, Bill.
I know it's 6 years, but I thought he was up.
I thought he'd been there 2 years.
I thought he'd been in there 4.
Maybe he was, I don't know. I hope, I don't
could
think
be
so.
mistaken. Some of you callers out there in radio land call in and tell us how long Corker's been in office.
Too
I
long.
think it's 4 years.
Well,
1 minute's too long now.
I can find out here in a minute, but I'm gonna tell you
We gotta
what.
get Stacy Campfield to run against him in the primary.
Hey, did you hear about a vote they had the other day? This fella, I don't know what he's, I didn't get all the names and everything, but it had to do with Congress, and they put up some kind of a vote. And it was, I don't know, it wouldn't really mean anything, but anyhow, it had to do with putting a stop to slavery or reinstating slavery or something. It was some kind of an odd thing. And as a colored representative put it up,
We meant to say African American.
well, anyhow, all these.
What color was the
All these
artist?
politicians voted, and the way I understood it, they voted to reenact slavery or something. And what it was, it's kind of like our locals, nobody read it. And they went ahead and voted for the thing. And it was not it was just kind of a complimentary or in honor of something. But anyhow, they didn't read it, and the way it was worded, it was either to reinstate slavery or do something derogatory to the people of color. And they voted yes because they didn't read the thing.
So they voted that in the law.
Well, no, it was a non-binding resolution, I reckon, or something
Oh,
like
okay,
that.
one of those,
But it goes
like
to
naming a bridge or something.
yeah, or something. I don't know what it was, but I didn't get the details, but I thought it was interesting that it proved that our legislatures work just like our county commission does down here. They don't read it. They just, somebody throws it out there and they may look at the first line or first sentence and vote
It's
yes.
like our state
I thought you had
legislators.
to pass it.
It's
find
like our
out what was
state-
in it.
That's what you
It's
do.
like our state representatives. They'll propose to name a bridge, and 75 other representatives will be co-sponsors. They'll jump on the bill. That way it makes their work look more productive.
Well, that's kind of like the sheriff's department, you know, they hang around down here on 116 on the one that goes from Caryville back road to Clinton, or to Lake City or to Rocky Top, wherever it goes, you know. And they'll sit around up there and wait to see cars leave from the beer joints. And then they will follow those cars. And I called the sheriff and told him it ought to be against the law to hunt over Beatty Field.
They have ruined the bar business. Police, highway patrolmen, county sheriff's departments, police departments. They ruined the bar business in America by doing that very same thing you're talking about.
Yeah, but just think all them lives they've saved. Bob Corker was reelected in 2012.
Well, I tell you,
So he's been there 2 years.
He'll be there for 18.
4 years from now. Can you find anything on there about Joe Carr, how he's doing against Lamar Alexander in any polls? Or
He was walking on out there a little bit.
I think Lamar ought to walk across the state again and lose his way.
I think he lost his way the last time, we just
He
didn't
did.
realize
I
it.
think he took a left turn.
He's become anti-private property, one of the worst rhinos. They ain't a conservative threading his body anywhere.
He even drives a Leaf,
Oh, what?
a Leaf,
How do you
One of them
drive a Leaf?
electrical
I don't,
jobs.
a Nissan Leaf.
okay. If you say so.
Yeah, I say so.
We got a Leaf running for public
Electric
defender.
car. May 22nd, let's see if we got anything more than, May 22nd, let's see. Alexander leads us to 44 to 20.
44 to 12.
44 to 20. Let's see what else we got here.
He's leading him by 24 points.
Well, this is in May.
Oh,
Well, fellas, did
February,
you,
February,
I saw
May.
where Florida, the governor signed a new law. Did you see that about guns? You're allowed, they had a trial down there. This woman, her husband was abusing her, and she shot at him. She shot 3 times at him and missed. So they turned around and charged her with assault with a deadly weapon or something like that.
They'll charge her for bad shooting.
Well, anyhow, they was gonna send her to prison or something over this. Somehow the mayor, they got it, or not the mayor, but the governor, they put this thing off or something till they could pass a law that said that you could fire a warning shot now. And the governor signed it into law. So she's not going to prison.
Well, you know, it has got
she
so
fired
bad.
3 warning shots.
Yeah, she fired 3 of them, but
One of them did, didn't she?
It has got so bad that a man can't beat his wife, what somebody won't call the law on him.
I ain't gonna touch that now. There's something, you got something about that. But anyhow, with this same law,
Bob, you knew George Washington personally, didn't you?
Yeah, he's left here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
there's another part of this law also,
Pretty good.
that if your child happens to eat his Pop-Tart out into the shape of a gun, you can't have him suspended and sentenced to 10 years in jail.
I wondered who that was. Did he snore? Did he snore?
Well, he was bad to toss and tumble.
It's all them there wooden
If
teeth
you ever
you give
thought-
me, Bill. You got, you know
ever
them.
thought that the Washington Monument was a phallic symbol for the father of our country?
Yeah, I've thought about it. It looks real good, a couple of Volkswagen parked at the bottom. You know, the thing about it
Folks,
is,
I'm only a guest call now. On this show,
who's gonna sue us, George Washington? We all know,
Volkswagen.
we all know how hard it is to sleep when you got them there wooden teeth in your mouth. That's the reason.
Volkswagen.
Kept dozing off everywhere.
Who's gonna see?
Right.
I'll tell you what we better do here while we all calm
Yeah, let's
down
do
there
that.
going on. Let me see if I can get
John might not after this even want us to do it.
Here we go. We're gonna do, we don't hold our sponsors in contempt over this. Here we go here, I think.
Well, we've been in business here for 75 years. We've had 40 years experience in the ambulance service. We have a Class A ambulance service. Almost 22 employees. 22 employees that we pay for all on our own. And how much taxpayer money goes into this operation? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. We do all kinds of ambulance service. We're graded by the state as a Class A service. We can haul any kind of patients. We can go anywhere. We do a lot of non-emergency transports, nursing home, hospitals, doctor's offices. We go anywhere that patients want to go. We appreciate the opportunity to serve each and every one of our patients. Any kind of insurance you have, we're qualified to take it. If you need medical transport, that's an ambulance, then call the company that does not require taxpayer money. They either please you or they go out of business. Call Vital Care at 562-9370. If you can't remember that, just call 911 and tell them you want Vital Care. Works every time.
Well, that's it, folks. Reckon I got that
It
settled.
does do that.
Huh?
Works every time.
Worked for you, didn't it?
Yeah. But that way, I'm alive to tell it. You know, they got all this Ebola outbreak over in Ghana and those other places.
They
All they
get
gotta do is send John over there with his mobile equipment and he'll haul him right to the hospital.
They getting some new diseases coming in across the border. Maybe he can practice some down there.
Well, what do you think about the anthrax that was moved?
It makes you feel safe, don't it?
Well, it makes me feel real safe. I heard the lady that's in charge of this thing making comments, or she was being asked questions, and she had all the political answers. She must have been a politician. They asked her 2 or 3 questions, she never did answer one of them.
Okay.
But whenever you have all these things, I don't care if it's radiation or whatever, they say the general public is not endangered in any way. But they raised it from 75 to 80 people who may be contaminated possibly. And they say it may take as much as 60 days or whatever for it to tell if they had it out, or maybe even longer.
Right.
But makes me feel real safe about a lot of things. The CDC. Digger, it's good to see you.
Good to be here.
Hello, Digger.
At my age, it's good to be anywhere.
What's going on in the world, in your world?
Just hard work. Taking care of business.
Got any gas?
Plenty of it, plenty of it. Ain't never
Thank
been no
you, babe.
shortage, ain't never been no shortages on that gas thing nowhere but, everywhere's except my place, and there was no shortage there. And I will be 4th of July, I know this is a little early, 4th of July comes on a Friday, and I will be, open pretty much all day on Friday,
I would really
because
rather,
that's a work day.
I would really rather for you to buy me a fist for the voice.
23rd?
Feel for the fourth.
They don't sell it in the fields anymore, Bob, it's liters.
Okay.
And they changed it, you gotta learn to measure it, Bob.
Okay. I know how.
Guys, we got less than,
750 liters, I believe, or milliliters or whatever.
we got less than 4 weeks to early voting begins.
Right.
And then we start getting revenge.
Is there anything we need to comment about any candidates?
Well, I think you ought to ask every one of them whether or not they will vote for a tax increase.
You know, there's gonna be 3 shows
Right.
sponsored by a radio station
Right.
here in La Follette Press, the other radio station. They're gonna have one, I think, June 26th at La Follette Middle School.
But are they gonna let anybody ask questions
No.
of the candidates?
I think
No.
they are.
No, they've got, somebody else didn't figure, they got 3 people gonna ask the questions.
That's right.
Okay.
You can't submit questions or
Well, I don't
anything?
know about that, but
You can submit all you want to, it don't mean you're gonna get them answered.
Hey, all
Or
this,
asked.
this is just veneer to make everything look
Oh,
legitimate,
yeah.
all it is. Nothing to it.
got that manure and it always makes things look better.
Right.
I believe, after this election, I think the only thing that's gonna change Jacksboro, and maybe not part of that, is that little name up there in front of them people on that piece of wood.
Yeah, it's gonna waste some more money.
Yeah,
on
they're
them
gonna,
plaques.
the only thing I see that'll change will be the name, and all of them names won't even change.
No.
And that's about it. If you go back and look at the county politics, all over this country, the way it's run, the day after the election, and I've noticed this all the, I think 45 some years that I've been working, every day after the election, I have to go back to work. That don't ever change, and I don't believe any of this is gonna change. And as far as the taxes are concerned, the taxes are going to go up, and they're gonna go up significantly. And there may be some candidates that says, no, I ain't gonna raise them, but when it comes to voting times, they will be raised.
Do they have to have 2/3 or only a majority?
Well, it don't make any difference.
Majority.
Before they go in there,
8 votes,
They'll
all
know.
they need is 8 votes.
they'll know how the votes are before they won't vote unanimous. But
They'll twist arms before they go in
It will
the
be
vote.
moved before it goes up there, that they will
Well,
raise it.
You know, they all will
And they'll
have,
vote the way Jeff Marlowe tells them
they
to vote.
all will have to make a trip, to Nashville for indoctrination on how to
Yeah,
more
they,
deftly
they need to,
put their hands in the people's pockets.
they need to sign up for a lock picking school too.
We-
Pick, yeah,
we
be a lot
need-
cheaper to pick them than it would drill them, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could continue to use them.
You see
Right.
We
where,
don't wanna have to keep buying locks, we'll teach them
I
how
got-
to
what
fix
got
it.
me is he
I
took
got an
a
idea.
crowbar to that desk.
Why
That
not?
desk was tore all to pieces.
Why not just do away with all locks and have the honor system?
There you
Make
go.
no sense, but we can't find anybody any honor around
Anyway,
here.
honor.
Or let them have the honor and I'll have the system.
Well, let's go back to my other suggestion. Why don't we just find out what they wanna take and pay them for it, so they don't have to steal
Hey,
it?
we can dance
Well,
for that.
yeah,
You
that's
know,
a good
we'd be a
idea.
mile ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
I've thought, you know, we have,
Radio.
police that's supposed to protect our property and whatever else, which they can't. I understand, you can't protect everybody's property. But it seems to me like that we should pass a law that lets us protect it if they can't protect it. And like if we call the law and the guy's out there doing his thing and the law can't get there, that we should be allowed to take care of it.
You are 100% right. Did
I
you
think
know
so too.
the Supreme Court of the United States has ruled multiple times that police are not responsible for your safety
That is
or your
correct.
property.
That's correct, they're
That
not.
if they want to finish their coffee before they get in their car and drive, even though you call them up and say, there's a guy kicking in my front door and he's got a big gun in his hand. They'll finish their coffee, finish eating their donut, get in their car, and drive leisurely to your place. And you may be nothing but a bloody spot left on the floor, but the Supreme Court says they are not responsible for your safety. So basically, folks, in this world, the only person responsible for your safety is yourself, and your county commission's responsible for all your money.
Very true.
But the other side of it is, they say that you can't protect your property. In other words, they can't protect it, but you can't protect it,
Well-
so it's unprotected.
I've heard you say your property don't even belong to you anymore.
Well, you're
It belongs
correct
to
there.
them.
You're absolutely right, it does.
So they don't care.
Yes, what Young's was, you passed, you slid right straight over the top of the big one
Put it on
that
us.
you was talking about there.
Okay,
They have done it already, did this 4 years ago, and they have already put this thing in mothballs until
You talk-
after the
the
election.
budget. Yes,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
already done and
It's
said.
already been,
It's already, yeah,
no, it ain't said nothing, it's, even though they've got it,
yeah, they've got
there's
it.
no vote on it, nothing to do but
No
vote on it.
that's all they gotta
Nothing
do.
to do but vote on it. But this is already, probably a month ago, was put off until after this election.
But-
And then that'll be the first thing that'll hit the, that'll hit,
just
will
like
be a tax
everybody else.
raise.
They just
Did
like
you know Jeff Marlowe told Jerry Chadwell, which he announced on television, that the budget was only $80 million. Now, Tom Hatmaker told me it was right around 96 million. Now, which one of those two individuals would you believe is
I
telling
come
the
closer, I
truth?
come closer to believing Tom.
Now, what was the budget last year? It was a whole lot higher than 80 million last year.
I
wasn't it?
know it, it was about 92 million last
Okay, if it
year.
was 92 million last
And
year,
it goes up every
how
year.
could they cut it to 80 million this year?
That's what he
What
told
did they
Jerry
cut?
Chadwell, but hey, this is the same man that's bypassing every bid law in the state of Tennessee. When our school superintendent was cashiered for bids, check splitting to avoid bidding, Jeff Marlowe signed off on every one of them checks more than once. Signed off on the invoices, signed off on the purchase requests, signed off on the checks. And why wasn't he cashiered? He knew more about what was going on than the school superintendent did. And the school superintendent was cashiered. Now he did it with the insurance. You know, our county insurance almost doubled.
You know what, I was sitting here thinking about that
And
insurance.
no bid. It was not put up for a bid. We're talking millions of dollars and it wasn't put
Would
up for a bid.
anybody like to do an expose on why the insurance is run through the people that it's run through in this county?
There should be, but it should be competitively bid to save the taxpayers money.
The way,
And it's not. Jeff Marlowe runs that down there like a totalitarian dictator.
I bet he got, there's another one there with him.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Your county commission voted to make Beard dictator.
That's correct, they did.
And he put Marlowe right there in that
And
seat in
Marlowe-
front of him to
well,
tell
well,
them about it.
but Marlowe was already in there.
Hey,
Marlowe was in there before, Marlowe was already, dictator over the cash department before the county commission made William Beard dictator over the
Yeah,
county.
but then you don't have
So
to
you
worry
only,
about,
you only got two people there to
you don't have to
concerned
worry about
about
William
things.
being dictator, because he's already delegated all the work and everything to David Young.
well, he dictates it back over to Marlowe, so they won't have to, there won't be no confusion in between from his corner to
No
Marlowe's.
question, right.
I've surveyed counties all around us, and you know, there's counties bigger than us that don't even have a finance office. They have one or two employees in the mayor's office that handles their